We did it, guys. Zohran Mamdani has officially won the Democratic primary in this year's mayoral election to be the next mayor of New York City. He will now be our Democratic nominee. And this is just an amazing moment, and I'm just so happy. And even though I'm hopeful, I know that the road to November, which is when the general election is being held, is going to be a long, hard-fought one. But for now, I just want to bask in this moment because as somebody that has been supporting progressive leftist politicians since 2015, it's finally nice to have a big win. You know, I campaigned for Bernie Sanders in 2016, and I was a part of his 2020 campaign when I phone banked people all across America to get them to vote for Bernie. And unfortunately, we all know how that turned out. So this time, it feels great to vote for a candidate that's leftist, progressive, and actually has won a primary to begin with. You know, this is such a pivotal moment in leftist and progressive politics. And it's basically a goodbye to the old establishment of the Democratic Party, the old guard, basically, that kind of wants to gatekeep power and so forth with these people that have been in politics for decades and still want to be part of politics now. I also want to say that this is what happens when the electorate actually is given a candidate who truly hears them and doesn't speak at them, but speaks with them. This is what happens when we finally get a candidate that is from New York City, or at least, you know, is raised here, and actually listens to people's problems and understands them and resonates with the public, right? This is what happens when you don't coast off of name recognition and you actually do the work knocking on doors and meeting people and hearing them and where they're at. And this is why, even though we had like record heat on election day here in New York City, people still went out to vote and turned out for Zohran Mamdani. And the reactions have been glorious from both sides, both from the centrist Democrats who are melting down to the alt-right MAGA Trump supporters who are also melting down, both for idiotic reasons. But again, that's how it is. It's very lonely to be in this side of the political spectrum because both sides think that you're extreme. And it's so sad that when we're having a government that's already so extreme that people think that the way to respond to that is by more milquetoast centrism that gets us nowhere and actually got us to this point in the first place. So I'm just thankful that this moment happened, and it's just truly kind of hard to believe because for a second I did think that Andrew Cuomo would win, which is why I made my previous video in the first place, because I was like, people have to know about Zohran Mamdani. Nobody knew about this guy. He was a newcomer polling in single digits, and I knew about him since like February of this year, and I just was like, this is the guy. And it just completely shocked me how he just turned this race around and went from zero to hero. And it's just an amazing campaign that he ran. And this is what happens when you connect with people and actually speak to them instead of just lazily hoping that your name alone gets you to the places you want to be at. So now, a young assemblyman toppled one of the sacred cows of the Democratic Party, Andrew Cuomo. And this is just a pivotal moment for politics and shows that Democratic Party needs to go in this direction. I don't care what you've heard or what people have said. Milquetoast centrism and neoliberalism just does not work. People want, you know, ideas, big ideas, ambitious ideas that may be hard to implement, but at least we can talk about them because we need extreme dramatic changes. I don't know what world you're living in if you think that what we're doing now is currently good, but the path that we're going on is not it. A lot of people are being priced out of New York City. Only the elite can afford to live here, basically, and that's just not right, period. Everybody should be allowed and able to live in New York City. I don't care what your income or background is, but there is a segment of people that just want to keep things going as they are. And for me, that's a huge problem because so many people are struggling. We can't continue with the way things are going. It is not working for the majority of people. It's working for the small minority that want to live off of the majority that's working for that minority. And so Zohran's campaign really spoke to these issues that people are facing, that they want rent freezes and more accessible buses and things like that. And I would just like to hear him speak more about public education because after how Michael Bloomberg destroyed public education in New York City. We definitely need a mayor that prioritizes our public schools instead of favoring private schools or charter schools. So that's something that I also would like to see more be talked about in this election. But again, this is just a great moment to have people like AOC and Bernie Sanders, who I support and align my politics with, now have another candidate that ended up being a winning candidate, because a lot of people have said that progressive candidates can't win, their ideas are too pie in the sky, and yada yada yada. But last night showed us that it is very possible. It is very possible to have a progressive leftist candidate to win. And that's just honestly inspiring for young people and future politicians all across America, and honestly even the world. You can be leftist. You can speak your mind about these problems and come out on top. You don't have to be selling out to a foreign entity or country. You don't have to be selling out to lobbyists. You can speak your mind and have a successful career in American politics, no matter what, because so many politicians these days are bought and paid for, are basically just puppets on a string, and people are starting to wake up and see through that. And I think because Zohran was so fresh and so young and so new, people were like, you know what, let's just give the new kid on the block a chance. We've already tried Andrew Cuomo, we've already tried Eric Adams, and they've both been dismal failures. And so come November, when this race will become a three-way race between Zohran Mamdani, Eric Adams, and the Republican nominee, I just know that Zohran Mamdani will come on top and will win, because people have already tried Eric Adams, and we've seen his administration be so ineffective and full of corrupt controversies, you know? And so it's just like, why would we want to do that again? Why not try something new for a change, right? And so I just cannot wait to continue supporting Zohran until then, and then afterwards, because this is truly an exciting and inspiring time for New York City. And I know a lot of people online are already criticizing him, especially the Trump supporters who have no idea what they're talking about and don't even live in New York City. But that's fine. Ignorance will always exist. As a native New Yorker, I will tell you that I early voted for Zohran Mamdani, and I am very proud to have done so. I do not even rank Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo. I just made sure to rank politicians that actually care about this city. But it's just such a great moment for me, because I've been supporting leftist progressive candidates for nearly a decade now, actually about a decade, and this is pretty much the first big win, truly the second after AOC's win in 2018, but this is the first big win on a great scale. And so I just hope that in the future we continue more of this. So what does Zohran's win mean for politics in America? Well, it kind of signals a death knell to the old establishment and Democratic Party of yesteryear. You had people like Bill Clinton and Michael Bloomberg support Andrew Cuomo's mayoral candidacy. You had people that were billionaires supporting him. You had the New York Times and the New York Post basically writing articles in favor of him. The voters didn't care. We saw right through it, and we realized that Andrew Cuomo is not the man for the job. This shows that no matter how much money you have and how much name recognition you have, it is not enough to win a political campaign and race in 2025. If Democrats ever want to win again at the federal level, they should model their future candidates' campaigns similar to Zohran Mamdani's, because that is a winning campaign and shows what happens when you actually speak to people's problems and speak with them and not at them. Anyways, this is all I had to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is a great moment for New York City, and the naysayers can continue to hate. Please let me know what you think about this. Leave me a comment down below, because I love to hear from you guys, and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'll see you in the next video, and until next time, take care. Bye.